Hi, I want to introduce you to Stephanie Clark, the Director of Activities at Hopkins Center. Hopkins Center is where we have been piloting all of our projects that they've come along in our think tank. And we've been working with Stephanie for a long time. And Stephanie is also a music therapist. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, Stephanie, is to reflect on how you feel. I mean, you already believe in art for healing, so you don't have to be convinced, but how do you feel the work that we've done here as art for healing has affected your residents? So please, just whatever comes to your mind.
Absolutely, yeah. No, art, as well as music, they are things that are integral, both in their lives as well as our own lives. You can see the effect that the art that we've done together with them has had on them. These are things that they've both made and then had, delivered to them in their rooms that are things that they can focus on, things that bring them joy, things that bring them peace, both in the sense that it is a physical representation of something that they have either created themselves or has been created for them, as well as, a way for them to kind of mentally or spiritually kind of center themselves. Art, music, whatever the thing is, it really helps to provide a way to just, again, center yourself, provide a way to be calm, rested, and just bring a sense of happiness. It's something that we do all throughout our lives. It's something that's integral in, childhood, adulthood, and now that they're, older adults, it's something that shouldn't go away. And so it's nice to have both the healing windows as well as the other projects that we've done there for them as things that they can do and be engaged in and feel like they're still important, like they still matter, and that somebody still remembers them. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that they feel heard and represented. So.
I remember when we brought the paintings in for the permanent installation, which was a big accomplishment as an organization too, because how many did we put up? 52 or something?
Yeah.
But, we wanted so much to leave something permanently here and to bring light and color in. But I remember so many residents said things like, well, besides thank you and had gratitude, like I get to keep that, oh, that feels so good. And that's for me to have in my room. And, and then sunlight came in and the colors came in and, they look at the same walls in this small environment that they don't get to manipulate. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm constantly decorating and redecorating things, hanging this up, put that up in my house, put that down. They don't have that kind of vibrant relationship to where they live for some of them the rest of their lives. And this really came in as So what about the staff?
Yeah, no, I think it's really great for the staff as well, because we're here just as often as them in some ways. And it's like, you're here day in and day out. And, even after the last 2 years, it's been, tough on both ends. And for the staff to have something that they can look at and see, and even in the midst of them doing their jobs, just have a moment of reflection, a moment of, wow, like that is really beautiful. That is, just a physical representation of, life can still be beautiful. Things are still out there that are worth doing all of this for, and if it makes the residents happy, it's going to make our jobs a lot easier too. And that's at the end of the day, what we want is for them to be happy, and seeing that, I think, makes us a lot happier too.
Yeah, that fills our hearts too, because that was part of our original mission, was not just for those in very challenging, compromised situations because of their health or their situation or standing in life, but also the staff and the support people who work with them are under a tremendous. And we've all, we feel like the cover's been pulled back upon from some of the reality of what long-term care facilities go through to help residents because of the pandemic. Obviously the first reason that was pulled back was because there were a lot of occurrences of death and illness, but it also shone the light on not enough staff and not enough well-paid staff and not enough benefits for people, and to make their lives a little bit less stressful when they work with residents. So bringing art became even more important to us. In fact, that's why we made the little teeny tiny paintings. Remember those? And we gave them to your staff, and I think that went over well. What do you think?
They loved them, absolutely. I had seen people that were hanging up them by their workstations. Some people had them in their cars for a little bit. Others brought them home, and so it would help them feel connected still. And a lot of people really, really enjoyed those.
It's good to hear. And for years, you've been the pilot and the place that we've done Fig Tree Stories.
Yes,
which has brought high school seniors together with elders in the institution to talk about things that were important information they wanted to transfer over to the youth. And one of the things I will note in this interview is that Stephanie is the only center that had the technical ability to do this virtually when we had to do it virtually. She had found enough devices, had enough, well, I don't know if you ever had enough people to help you, but you ran around like a chicken with your head cut off and got everybody set up. And there we were, having high school students from their homes the first year, and then from their classrooms the second year, interviewing individuals who were here at Hopkins Center. So do you have anything to say about how that affected your residents?
Absolutely. I mean, Fig Tree Stories is truly one of the most impactful and amazing things that I think has happened here. Obviously we do a lot of things, but to have the ability for high school seniors who, I love them to death. We always think when we're young, we know everything. And then we've got our older adults who have gone through so many things. And for them to be able to share all of those years of experience with those who just have not had them yet, but are eager to still learn, it's beautiful, it's amazing to both see the students and the residents as they get to know each other, as they kind of learn to adapt to whatever the situation may be, whether it was in person, whether it was virtually, or kind of this hybrid ability that we had. And, to see the bond and relationship grow over the course of a couple of weeks, it lasts. I know residents have reached back out to their, the high schoolers have reached out to residents after the fact, and they've stayed in touch. Residents talk about it for years after, as how I wonder how my students are doing. I hope that they learned something. And there's just a connection that it's hard to describe, but at the same time that it's there, and it made an impact for both sides of it. Residents still that were part of it, they talk about their experiences from it, and it just, you see their face light up when they speak about it and when they think about it, and that it was impactful for them. Absolutely.
One of the things that took my breath away the first year we did it was there were residents, and it's still true now, but they didn't know things about each other because, you live together and you don't want to ask hey, have you ever been in jail? People don't talk about their lives as readily, whatever. They are entitled to their privacy. But with the kids, they opened up, and then when we read the stories, everybody heard things about other people, and there was such an air of respect for what the people they're living with. And there are people in this community who lived in only white neighborhoods, people who lived in only black neighborhoods, and here this is an everybody neighborhood. And they've learned, and partially I think through those stories, how to understand each other better. I don't know, it's just been very moving for me as someone bringing the program to you. You already did something beautiful for us at the beginning and summarized art for healing and why you think it's important. Is there anything you want to say about why it's been important for you?
I mean, again, I went to school for music therapy, and so music has always been such a huge part of my life. But personally for myself, I love to craft, I love to make art myself. So even for my own experiences, I've always used art as one of the ways to either relax at the end of the day, or to share something with both my friends and family and other individuals. I find that art is a way that you can connect even without words. Again, it's something as simple as, you can make something for somebody and share, and that they understand that you put time and effort into it, and that you thought enough about them that you wanted to share that with them. And again, it's that somebody was thinking of me. And when they look at it, they can remember that. Same as, for the residents. But it's just always been there, and I always hope to kind of, use that in the future for ways to continue connecting with people. Again, even beyond the words that we can share, even beyond, the memories that people may or may not have here long term, they will still be able to look at something and go, I remember that in some way.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a happy feeling.
Good.
So
That's
Yeah.
great. Thank you so much, Stephanie. You know,
Absolutely.
we go by the philosophy of one pebble, one pond.
Mhm.
We would love to do this work in every single long-term care facility all over the Philadelphia area, train other people, do it all over the country. We don't have that capacity right now, but we do have the capacity to continue working here, to work in a few other locations, several other locations actually,
Yeah.
and to continue to throw our pebble into your pond and have an effect. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank
It's
you
been
so
a
much for
blessing.
everything you've done for us. It's always been amazing. Thank you.